Hi guys, it's Jamie again and I have another hero guide for you. This time we're going to look at Nobushi. She has high damage and good punishes in most situations. Combine this with her safe or hard to punish heavies and zone attacks and you've got a decent and fun character to play. In this video I'm not going to talk about unlock exploits at all because honestly they're cheap and unhealthy for the game, and without the ability to parry them, they're a risk-free way of putting potential damage on your opponent. It's like going to a casino and getting chips for free and still winning real money. Anyway, as per usual, we'll start off with her damage profile and then we'll get into some of her mechanics and punishes. As you can see, she has consistently high damage in all areas, and this is further bolstered by the fact that she gets the top heavy on every single guard break that she gets. So that's 38 damage per guard break, probably one of the higher guard break punishes. Let's go through some of her mechanics now. First, we're going to talk about her kick, which can be performed after either a light, heavy, or even a hidden stance. First thing to mention is that the kick is entirely safe from guard breaks. If your opponent dodges it and they attempt to guard break him from the side, it won't work if done too quickly, and if done a bit later you can do your light follow-up, which will do 25 bleed damage and prevent the guard break. So if you see your opponent dodging your kick, then get ready to queue up that light attack and make it safe. There is an issue with doing this though, and that's that your opponent might expect this, in which case they get a free light parry against you and a lot of damage. So be careful about doing this too often. Once your opponent gets punished once, they might stop trying to guard break you on the dodge, in which case you won't need to do that light, at which point they might try to start guard breaking you again, so be careful. Another interesting thing about the kick is that you can delay it in some circumstances. Namely, I'm talking about with your heavy attacks. When you heavy, you can pause for maybe half a second to a second, and then kick in a delayed fashion. This can be useful because your opponents might be expecting a kick straight away, and when they don't see one, they might be more thinking about what they're going to do next rather than looking for that kick. Another strong and simple mechanic that Nobushi has is the ability to cancel the recoveries of a lot of her heavy attacks and her zone attack with a dash, or perhaps even a dash into attack. Go into a practice game and get a feel for what sort of timing you can actually dash at after a heavy attack or a zone attack. You'll find it's a lot earlier than you might think. This is an important skill to master because a lot of her attacks have long recovery times on them, and so you'll want to cut these recovery times down with these dashes. Lastly, let's talk about the feinting mechanic attached to her hidden stance. When you are using a heavy or a light attack, during the start of both the animations, you can actually cancel these attacks into a hidden stance. Now, this can be really strong, especially if your opponent is looking for particular parries. Something to note here is that against better players, you're going to find that they're going to expect this. You'll often find Nobushi's hidden stancing the start of a light attack and then going straight into another light attack, which will give you the bleed on top. This is really obvious and makes for a very easy light parry, so be careful about doing this. I find oftentimes one of the better follow-ups from hidden stance cancelling a light attack can be just simply to heavy, or do something else, another iteration of the parry timing, which I explain in another video. Lastly, for her mechanics, I want to talk about her extremely fast cancel into neutral, or cancel into guard stance. When Nobushi is using a heavy attack, she can cancel out of it faster than most heroes, and get back into a neutral state, or throw out another attack, or throw out a guard break. All characters can cancel an attack into a guard break, looking to guard break the early frames of your opponent's heavy in response, or your opponent's parry in response, giving you a guard break that they can't tech. Because of Nobushi's particularly fast cancel into neutral, this technique can be quite effective. The other use for this fast return to neutral is to assist her during the feint game. If your opponent is feinting into an attack and you've accidentally gone for a light parry, or you thought they were going for a heavy and you went for a heavy parry, against a lot of characters you're going to get that cancel into neutral before their attack comes out, before their feint into light comes out, or before their heavy feint into heavy comes out. Now we're going to talk about punishing your opponent when you get a parry. Firstly, you're going to want to punish both heavy and light parries with a top heavy after a guard break on your part. So this will net you 38 damage from the top heavy alone, which is very good damage. When you parry the light attack, you don't need to guard break first, you can just go straight into your top heavy. When you're playing against ranged opponents whose heavies you can't reach with a guard break after parrying them, you want to go for your zone attack. A As long as the attack that you parried came in from the top stance or the left stance from your point of view, then you can punish with a zone attack. I would say do cancel the second part of the zone attack though, because this is extremely parryable. This will get you 33 damage, so really good damage against ranged heroes. If, however, they did throw an attack on your right hand side and you parried it, your zone attack is going to get blocked. So what you want to do instead is you want to parry the attack, quickly switch stance with your right thumbstick to either the left stance or the top stance, and Viper's Retreat, which you'll be able to hit in time for 25 bleed damage. The reason we changed stance away from the right hand side is because if you use this Viper's Retreat after a parry in the same guard direction as you just parried from, they'll be able to block it. Next, we're going to talk about what to do when your opponent's out of stamina. If you've parried an opponent and this has left them out of stamina but they're not yet fallen to the ground, then guard break them with your free guard break after parry, throw them forwards into a delayed top light attack, which will give you the 25 bleed damage, and then a top heavy before they stand up. In total, this will net you approximately 70 damage. This is because you've put bleed on the opponent, and then your top heavy is going to be increased by 20% in damage. So it's about 70 damage. If you find yourself parrying an exhausted opponent, then your parry is going to make them fall to the floor anyway. Do not guard break these people, because at that point, if you throw a guard break that normally would be untechable, it's now techable because they're falling to the ground. In this case, let them fall to the ground, then you want to hit them with a side heavy into a top heavy for 63 damage. In total, this has been a rather short video because honestly there's not too much to Nobushi that I haven't already explained in videos about other characters or other guides before. As with any character, you want to keep in mind the parry mind game and keep in mind what your opponent's going to be thinking that you're going to do and do something different to punish it. If you haven't seen my video on parry timings and the parry mind game, I really would recommend you have a look at it because it's particularly strong on characters like Nobushi. And as always, if you did like the video, then feel free to leave a like or a comment, and if you do enjoy my content, then remember to subscribe to see future content. I do stream on Twitch for anybody who's been asking in the past. My Twitch page should be in the description below, so definitely check that out. We'd love to have you, and thank you for watching, guys.